Hey guys, Keisatsu here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Double Henshin Ju Deluxe vs. Changer from Kaitou Sentai Lupinranger vs. Keisatsu Sentai Patranger. This is the Changer for this year's new Sentai series, which features two opposing teams. And this is used by both teams to transform and summon their versus vehicles. Now this toy was released in two different sets, the LupinRed set for the Lupinrangers and the Patren1Gou set for the Patrangers. Both sets include the versus Changer and one card, whereas the difference between the two is which versus vehicle is included. I bought one of the sets and then got the other versus vehicle separately, but I'll be reviewing these together to give you an idea of what both sets are like. So, let's get started. Getting the smallest thing out of the way first, we'll look at the card, which is a Super Sentai Data Card Dust card for LupinRed vs. Patren1Gou. This is a new Data card game for Super Sentai, and it's a revival of sorts, since there hasn't been anything like this since Daiso, which actually ended after Tokuger. So this is a new card-based arcade game featuring Super Sentai, though in this case it just features the Lupinrangers versus Patrangers. So you can see the two main Rangers, the two Red Rangers of the two teams here, as well as the team names right there. Got both the name of the card as well as the name of the series, then the power, and just a little description. And then on the back it just has a little advertisement for the game itself. Next we'll look at the main part of the set, which is the Versus Changer itself. So as you can see, this is a pretty interesting but basic looking gun, as it is meant to be for both teams, so it can't side with either one too much. Got a mostly white and black color scheme. You'll notice some orange accents throughout, and you should look for these on all the other Lupinranger vs. Patranger toys, as it's kind of a recurring theme. You've got this part here, which is where you've got your lights and sounds, as well as where you'll be inserting the versus vehicles. Have the gun muzzle up here, a release button for versus vehicles on top. On the back you have more details, plus the speaker back here. Here you have a handle with a grip, which will be for turning this part. As you can see, if you press and hold this, you can rotate this either upwards or downwards, and these two positions are for the two different teams. You have the handle here with a trigger. On the back you've got the power switch and the battery cover, and this takes two AAA batteries. So switching it on, you get a confirmation line sound. And also, you'll get a basic blasting sound, and then a sound for when you would turn the main body. Next, we'll look at the versus vehicles, starting with LupinRed's Red Dial Fighter. So for the Lupinrangers, all of their vehicles are aircraft. In the case of LupinRed, he gets a red fighter jet. You can see it's got a very nice profile to it. You have the cockpit here, some guns on the sides, a lot of other molded on details. You've got your two wings, each of which has an orange highlight, as well as the Lupinranger symbol, which is a silver V in the shape of a top hat. Then on top, you have the eponymous dial of the dial fighters. So this is equivalent to a safe dial. And you can see it's got a little indicator here for which number it's set to, as well as the numbers 0 through 9 all around. On the bottom, got some more details, as well as the recognition plate for where it'll attach to the versus changer. Now for each versus vehicle, they also have an attack mode, and in the case of the dial fighters, that is activated by rotating the dial. So if we twist it around, that folds down the cockpit section and reveals a beam cannon. And so this is the attack mode of the Red Dial Fighter. Next, let's demonstrate the Red Dial Fighter with the Versus Changer. So, first going to set on, then rotate the dial right to left and back a total of 3 times. and that activates the Lupinranger transformation. So with this you can see that the dial fighter is on top like a landing strip. Then, if we look at the side and pull the trigger, not only can you hear a different blasting sound, but on this side the panel lights up with the Lupinranger symbol. Then, if we turn it back down and back up again, we can activate the summoning for the versus vehicle. And there we have the summoning sound for the red dial fighter. And for each of the versus vehicles, or the two types, each have a different phrase they use for when preparing to summon the versus vehicles. In the case of the dial fighters, they say, fly, fly, fly. Then, we can release it, just like so. And the way the dial action works is that when you rotate this, at a couple different points, this tab will come out, which presses on this button, and that activates the turning of the dial to different combinations. Next, we'll look at Patren1Gou's Trigger Machine Ichigo. So, for the Patrangers, their vehicles are all ground-based. So, you can see that as opposed to the red dial fighter that was mostly the Ranger color, in this case this is mostly white with the Ranger color as the accent. See, it takes the form of a police patrol car. Got your canopy here, the signals up here. Got a nice stripe down the side. Have the numbering 01 on the side, and then here we have the Patranger symbol, which is a gold S within a police badge. You got your engine there, it's got 4 wheels, and headlights back right up front, as well as some engine parts all along here. Then again on the bottom we have the railing and pins for use with the versus changer. So, for the trigger machines, to activate the gimmick, you pull a little trigger here on the back. For trigger machine Ichigo, that extends out the front, creating a 6-wheel vehicle, and you'll notice it has this new turbo engine that's revealed. So, this is actually on a gear system that's tied to the 2 front wheels, so when you spin them, this part actually rotates. And so, you can have that rotating, or have that move, as you move it along the ground. And in the series, this lets Trigger Machine Ichigo have a boost of speed and go much faster. Next, we'll demonstrate Trigger Machine Ichigo with the Versus Changer. So like before, we'll set it on. In this case, the activation will happen automatically. Then we'll set to the lower half.
Keisatsu Change!
And that activates the Patranger transformation. As you can see, the 2 different transformation sequences are very different in their tones and their sounds. A nice little touch for the Patranger transformation is that the 2 lights on the sides will flash back and forth, similar to a police car's patrol lights. So, with a trigger machine attached, you can see that with it turned down here, it actually becomes the trigger of the Versus Changer, which is a very nice touch. So, with this we get another new blasting sound. And you can see that the light on this side has the Patranger symbol in it. So then we can activate the summoning for the Versus vehicle. And there we have the summoning for Trigger Machine Ichigo. Now, the standby phrase here, as opposed to the Lupinranger's fly, 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 is run, run, run. Another difference between the two is that when you have a dial fighter attached, the phrases are in English, whereas for Trigger Machines, the phrases are in Japanese. So I'll need to do some translations. So the first part of it, the preparation kind of phrase, was Ichi ni Tsuite, Youi, which means on your mark, get set. And then the one that comes after you pull the trigger is Shutsudou-n, which is a pun on deploy, as well as the word used for go in on your mark, get set, go. Then finally, we have the identification phrase, or the unique phrase for Trigger Machine Ichigo, which is Gou-On-Baku-Sou, or Roaring Rush. And then we can remove this the same way as we did the red dial fighter. And lastly, here's a quick little comparison between the two versus vehicles. As you can see, they're both roughly the same size, with the Trigger Machine being a little bit on the wider side, or a bit on the bulkier side, whereas the dial fighter is a little bit longer, but in terms of the general size and general mass, they are generally the same. And there we go. So overall, this is a pretty cool changer with a pretty unique concept. The idea of having a versus between two Sentai teams is a long-standing tradition in terms of special movies, but those verses are between two Sentai teams of different years, and they're basically team-up movies. But in this case, these are two teams with opposing ideals going on at the same time. And in the case of the toys here, you can see that they really did put a lot of effort into making them different. From making them different types of vehicles, to changing up the color schemes, to not only changing how they go onto the changer, but also some stark contrast in the kind of sounds they make. So, in terms of how to buy this, what I recommend is to buy one of the sets, and then buy the sold separately versus vehicle that didn't come with the set, because the versus vehicles that come with these are the exact same ones that are sold separately. So no matter which one you get, if you buy the other one, you'll be getting the exact same sounds. But this is definitely the way I would recommend picking this up. And it's personally the way that I wish that they had sold this originally. But I do get that the main reason that they did like this in these two different sets is because of the whole versus theme of this year's Sentai series. But whichever way you decide to pick up these two, it's definitely going to be a good way to start off your collection. Next time, I'll be reviewing the deluxe blue and yellow dial fighters, as well as Trigger Machines Nigo and Sango, tomorrow at 6 PM PST. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KRX50, riding off.